Hey, thanks for joining me. I'm infinitely grateful that you decided to spend your time watching my videos. This is going to be part one of, I don't know how many parts it will be, but this series is going to be about semen retention, sexual transmutation, and sexual energy in general. This is going to be more about the male organ and how a single man can get past the plateau of benefits that most people feel when they're doing semen retention. There's going to be a lot of information about urology and um, endocrinology in this. So please, if you need to, get a pen and paper out, write down whatever you want to remember. Ask a question in the comments, send me a message on Instagram at blessed_NRG, and I'll see you in the video. Thanks so much again. Coitus reservatus, semen retention, nofap, brahmacharya, sexual transmutation. These terms describe the most powerful thing a man can do to take control of his life, retaining his main ingredient, the distilled quintessence of his life, the semen. Welcome to the video. I've been wanting to make this for such a long time, so I'm just going to jump right in. Nofap is for people getting off of porn. Semen retention is for people who are off of porn and withholding their semen indefinitely to gain certain benefits, which I will soon discuss. I am creating this resource as a means of educating men past the plateau of benefit that happens when somebody has been doing semen retention for a little while, about 3 months to 4 months. People will see a plateau in benefits. Some information will be scientific, some will be anecdotal from my decade of experience practicing and studying semen retention, and some of it will be more esoteric and mysterious, drawing from Buddhism, Taoism, and Hinduism. In order, we will talk about the benefits of semen retention, the cons of frequent ejaculation, testosterone and how to increase it, sperm, how it's created and how to refine it, and the best practices I have found for sexual transmutation, along with some tips and tricks from myself. So, first, benefits and facts. Semen retention builds testosterone. After only 7 days of retention, your testosterone will increase by 45%. Many benefits are synergistic, such as your sleep improves, you have deeper sleep, and your restfulness or your recovery improves as well during your sleep. This is essential in all avenues of life. Semen retention can improve or cure erectile dysfunction, and it can fix problems caused by excessive ejaculation. It can increase your motivation and willpower and confidence. It will lower your stress and anxiety. You'll have an improved attitudes towards life. Your hair will be thicker. Your focus will be improved. Your sleep will be improved. Your muscles will grow faster. Your fat will regulate better on your body, so you'll burn fat better and it'll distribute more evenly throughout your body. You will see women as they truly are and not as sexual objects. We're going to go into that a little bit later in the video. Your empathy will open up. You'll understand the emotions of other people better. You will be more fertile as a man, and a myriad of other benefits that will also be peppered throughout this presentation. So your sperm is made of the same minerals and vitamins as cerebrospinal fluid. The testes have a membrane similar to the blood-brain barrier called the blood-testes barrier. Some people believe that your unused semen is absorbed into the spinal fluid and rises up through the spinal cavity to nourish the brain. This belief comes from Leonardo da Vinci's notes on human autopsies, that he was one of the first people to perform and document in-depth autopsies in the Renaissance, was when he was doing it. Though the Egyptians and many other cultures had done that, but he's the first one to make notes that we actually use in Western medicine. So yes. So this concept was expanded upon by George Washington Carey in his book God-Man, the Word Made Flesh. Great book, but it's not exactly a fact. So retaining the semen will give you an electrical feeling sometimes, because since you're not shorting out your nervous system constantly by ejaculating and having, these short, intense orgasms, your nervous system is going to be able to regulate and repair itself a lot better. Actually, in French, the word for orgasm is la petite mort, or the little death, because whoever started using that term and however it caught on, these people realized that excessive orgasm caused death and aging. So with that said, sperm is reabsorbed via the process apoptosis. It most definitely offers vital minerals to the body and the brain. So even though your semen is not being absorbed into your spinal column, it's still going to make its way there. Apoptosis is a process which intact but unneeded cells are reabsorbed into the body and their minerals are redistributed. Holding semen makes a man more magnetic, confident, and powerful. It helps us build muscle and get our biorhythms in check. We come to realize the staggering amount of sexually manipulative media in the world. We realize that many women are manipulated by this same media for the purpose of manipulating men sexually without their knowledge. Tantric men grow a love and desire for their monogamous partners far beyond what anyone who masturbates to random strangers on the internet or perverse thoughts about people they know would experience. Cons of ejaculation. Ejaculation and orgasm is the ultimate biological reward. Ejaculating too frequently causes our reward centers, or our dopamine and serotonin levels, to be crossed and rewired to make us lazy. You don't have to work for that reward. You don't have to do anything to get it. You just turn on your computer or your phone, put that thing in your left hand, and go to town. That is not what a real functioning human does. Masturbation to pornography causes perversion and a twisting of the mind. It takes a prolific masturbator increasingly perverse material over time to become aroused. Over-ejaculation leads a man's body to believe that they are spreading their genes. And when a man is masturbating while in a committed relationship, this will cause him to subconsciously search for different partners to share his genes with. This is a big reason why some men cheat on their significant others. One ejaculation uses enough minerals to run 20 miles, and it causes brain fog and general fatigue. So there's this thing that's called, people call it post-nut clarity, where if you're too horny, you're not thinking straight, so you bust a nut and then you can make some kind of decision or, think clearly. And that really should not be a thing, because we should be able to channel our energy and make better decisions instead of having to get rid of whatever is causing us tension. The reason why people do that is because they have tension in their life that they don't know how to deal with any other way than jacking off. And it's really, honestly, it's disgusting. But we can easily get through these things without the cope of masturbation. You need to figure out some kind of psychological coping tool or psychological reframing mechanism to make your life bearable. That's very important. So continuing here, recovery of all the nutrients in one ejaculation takes about 3 days in adult young men. Imagine the deterioration a person causes in their body when they never give it a chance to recover. Excessive ejaculation also contributes to dehydration. Testosterone, the hormone that triggers puberty in adolescent boys, gradually declines over the course of a person's life. Testosterone. It helps grow muscle mass. It's the go-get-it hormone. It supports a healthy libido. Testosterone is the opposite of cortisol. Cortisol is the physiological stress hormone. Increased cortisol equals lower testosterone and vice versa. Here's a little quote about cortisol that I got from Wikipedia. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, increases sugars or glucose in the bloodstream. It enhances your brain's use of glucose and increases the availability of substances that repair tissues. Cortisol curbs functions that would be non-essential or harmful in a fight or flight situation. So if we want our bodies to be balanced, we should look into increasing our testosterone outside of semen retention, which will reduce our cortisol. Cortisol is a no-no. People with more cortisol are generally people that have gone through some kind of traumatic experience or people that have post-traumatic stress syndrome. Now, testosterone governs sperm production in the body, which is why it is central to this presentation, and the refinement of testosterone is essential to semen retention and getting past that plateau of benefits. Testosterone deficiency has a prevalence in 10 to 40% of young adult males. That number gets higher and higher as people get older. Somebody is considered a young adult until they are middle-aged at year 40, so we're talking about men from 15 to 39 years old. The closer you get to 39 years old, I believe it's 30 and up, that the base is 20%, so it's 20 to 40% after that. Our focus is young adult males here because as men become more advanced in age, you would naturally decline in testosterone and become deficient. But as you will learn, there are many ways to avoid being on the wrong side of that testosterone deficiency statistic. Closely related to testosterone is sperm count. Sperm count among men in North America, Europe, Australia, and New Zealand has declined more than 59% from 1973 to 2011, according to a meta-analysis that Swan Company wrote in 2017. At the current rate, half of men in those countries will have no sperm by 2045, while many others would have very low counts, Swan told USA Today. That's from, of course, USA Today. Swan Company analyzed data from 1973 to 2011 and came up with that statistic. Testosterone is a sex hormone that plays important roles in the body. In men, it is thought to regulate libido, bone mass, fat distribution, muscle mass and strength, and the production of red blood cells and sperm. I should also mention that in small amounts of testosterone convert to estradiol, which is a form of estrogen that regulates body fat. Sperm. Sperm is the male gamete, while females have eggs. The gamete is the reproductive cell that mixes with that of the opposite sex to create life within the woman. There are 2 to 3 billion sperm cells being carried by a man at any given time on average. Men typically ejaculate 1 teaspoon at a time, containing anywhere from 40 to 280 million individual sperm cells. During the process of creating sperm or spermatogenesis, your testicles make several million sperm per day. That's about 1,500 per second. I got that statistic from a article on healthline.com, which I will link, although that article is full of broken links that don't lead anywhere. The sperm fluid is mostly made of water, plasma, and mucus. Most of the fluid in semen is made up of secretions from the male reproductive organs. Semen contains citric acid, free amino acids, fructose, enzymes, phosphorylcholine, prostaglandin, potassium, and zinc. 46 to 80% of the fluid is produced by seminal vesicles. 13 to 33% is made by the prostate gland. 8% comes from the testicles and epididymis, which is the place where your sperm cells are held. The epididymis, it's like a bag on the outside of the testicles. And 2 to 5% comes from, let's see if I can say this right, bulbourethol and urethral glands. This is from medicalnews.net. So 5 to 10% of this actual semen is sperm. Sperm production is regulated by the pituitary gland and the hypothalamus. Sperm can survive up to 5 days after being ejaculated. Motility of the sperm or movement of the sperm is activated by oxygen. On average, 32% of ejaculated sperm cells are able to move in a straight line, making them viable. So if you ejaculate and your sperm cannot move in a straight line, it will not be able to fertilize an egg. Therefore, a man with that issue is considered infertile. 50% of motility and a man is considered fertile. So if 50% of the sperm move at all, a man is then considered fertile. Sperms enter the vas deferens after 20 days traveling from the testicles to grow to reach maturity in about 74 days. They're reabsorbed by apoptosis, which we mentioned earlier, after at most 150 days. Apoptosis is the process by which unneeded but intact cells are broken down and reabsorbed into the body. Mature and immature spermatozoa are stored in the vas deferens in a fructose solution. They are both ejaculated together, mature and immature sperm cells. Frequent ejaculators have far less mobile sperm, as the average age of each sperm cell is generally below 74 days, which is needed for them to reach maturity. As a result of that, men are not as fertile as they should be. So in your testicles, 2 hormones besides testosterone are essential to creating sperm cells, and that is luteinizing hormone, or LH, and follicle stimulation hormone, FSH. During puberty, something called the blood-testes barrier, which we mentioned earlier, is created with the use of luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. It brings testosterone from the blood and concentrates it into gametes. So your testosterone literally concentrates itself to become the basic component of the sperm cell. The FSH takes vitamins and minerals from the blood, and it adds them to the sperm so that it can grow. FSH concentrates the testosterone in the testes to 20 to 50 times the level that is in the blood, which catalyzes testosterone production in the rest of the body. This next section is called building better sperm. The sperm is the distillation of the quintessence of a man and should be treated with the same seriousness as the ancient Taoists and Ayurvedic practitioners treated it. Sperm is vulnerable to epigenetic DNA damage. Epigenetics is the expression of genes based on lifestyle and environment. When you hear of stress-triggering genetic diseases, this is an epigenetic reaction. Building better sperm means that it has a higher motility rate, it swims straighter, and is less deformed. Sperm can have 2 heads, 2 tails, or be generally disproportionate, which will impair its ability to make its way to where it needs to go to perform its job. A diet high in foods that create more testosterone is favorable to building better, healthier sperm. So some foods like this are oysters, and eggs are great for men's reproductive health, and certain other things like legumes, and you want to avoid seed oils. Lots of people like beef because it has a very low amount of phytoestrogens, which is what we're about to get into now. So we want to avoid all tofu and soy, flax seeds, sesame seed, multigrain bread, and things like that, because they have a content of phytoestrogens that is 3,000 or more units per 100 grams. A phytoestrogen is a plant-derived xenoestrogen not generated within the endocrine system, but consumed by eating phytoestrogenic plants. Also called a dietary estrogen, it is a diverse group of naturally occurring non-steroidal plant compounds that, because of its structural similarity to estradiol, have the ability to cause estrogenic and or anti-estrogenic effects. Phytoestrogens are not essential nutrients because their absence from the diet does not cause a disease, nor are they known to participate in any normal biological function. Phytoestrogens may help women regulate their cycles if they're out of whack. There are also other foods such as hummus, garlic, and certain other things that contain some phytoestrogens, but the amount of these foods is negligible compared to the aforementioned phytoestrogen-containing foods. So don't avoid hummus or garlic, because those things are great for you. Hummus has a lot of iron. Garlic is just like a superfood. But be wary of the tofus and the multigrain breads and certain ingredients like soy lecithin and nut and seed oils. They're just generally bad for you. Since it is naturally occurring, we cannot avoid all foods containing phytoestrogens. With that said, we should be aware of how much we are taking in, as an excess of this hormone can cause hormonal imbalances, especially in men. This is one of the number one feminizers, along with BPA, which I have a bullet point here on that. Other foods to avoid are processed meats, BPA, which is proven to cause infertility, pesticides, meaning eat all organic or at least abide by with your vegetables. the clean 15, and avoid the dirty dozen. To increase sperm, eat fish with omega-3 fatty acids, lots of fruits and vegetables, walnuts, oysters, and generally whole food, unprocessed diets. It is much cheaper to buy raw ingredients and cook from scratch than it is to buy packaged, shelf-stable foods for daily consumption. In 2012, a small study of researchers assigned 117 men ages 21 to 35 to eat or not eat approximately 18 walnuts every day for 12 weeks. The researchers analyzed sperm parameters before and after the study period. They found a significant improvement in sperm vitality in the nut-eating group. Also, you want to work out frequently. Make sure that your body thinks it's a struggle to survive, so it will create more testosterone, which will in turn create a better, healthier sperm, which you will then reabsorb and increase your energy with. As far as working out goes, squats are an excellent workout because they release growth hormone and testosterone more than any other exercise, because these two things are they're concentrated in high amounts in especially your thighs. Also, your calves have really big arteries and veins that need to be kind of worked out, and when you flex your calves, that's when you get the best blood flow in your body, because 40% of your blood is in your legs at any time, so you want to make sure that you're not skipping leg day. Avoid smoking tobacco, overuse of alcohol, illicit drugs, not including magic mushrooms and plant entheogens, which should be used sparingly anyway. Also avoid the overconsumption of marijuana, as THC creates cortisol in the body, which takes the place of testosterone. Take a folic acid or folate supplement with zinc and ashwagandha. In a study of 46 men taking ashwagandha for 90 days, their sperm count increased by 167% on average. 10 minutes of sun on the testicles every day will increase your testosterone by 100%. Weekly sauna sessions have also been known to increase test. Using the hero pose for 2 minutes while breathing deeply increases testosterone immediately. That means that you're standing with your hands on your hips, feet apart, chest out, like a superhero. Studies show that in a mock job interview, people who use this technique had 90% better success rate than the control group, which didn't use that technique. I got that from Tony Robbins' book, Awaken the Sleeping Giant. Great book. I highly recommend it. So your hormones are very important, and this is because the point of doing semen retention and sexual transmutation is to bring the body into harmony. Harmony. Think about it. What to do? Now that you have all the technical information that will allow you to optimize your semen quality and testosterone production, in this section I will explain some things that you can do that will compound the benefits of semen retention. Some of the things in this section seem like woo-woo. They seem like maybe they wouldn't work if you're coming from some kind of hyper, what you think, realistic perspective, but try it yourself. Don't just watch this video and say to yourself, that's cool, that would never work, and take no action. Action is key here. We're talking about testosterone. This is all about action. You can't look up most of what's about to be said, but you should definitely try to look it up. And anything that I say in this video, you should look up. You should never just take what anybody says at face value. Always do your own research, and that doesn't mean look for somebody who's done research that you want to do and see what they say. Go and find out as much as you can for yourself with the resources that you have. So you want to give these exercises that I'm about to detail an honest try to see if they do something for you. And I don't mean trying it once or twice. I mean throwing yourself into the practice, suspend your disbelief, and give it a real honest go to see if these things work. Some things will work right away, and other things will take a while to build up strength to do. Just keep at it, and you will succeed. About sexual energy, really quickly. This is from the Taoist point of view. Mantak Chia, the author of the amazing book, The Multi-Orgasmic Man, as well as others, explains that male sexual energy is a hot energy that wants to be balanced by entering a cold channel or area. It can either go up to the rest of the body through the spine, which is known as a cold channel, or it can be ejaculated outside of the body, which is known as a cold area. Earlier, I did say that the sperm is not literally going into the spine, even though that is the case, it still has much to do with the direction and utilization of sexual energy. Though this is little understood and left unexplained by most quote-unquote credible sources, we can leverage this principle to our advantage. So the number one thing that you want to be able to do is belly breathing. Belly breathing is monumentally important. This is when your abdomen and lower lungs expand. When you inhale and when you exhale, the reverse happens. So most people breathe into their chest, the top of their chest. They're not actually utilizing the bottom part of their lungs. By doing this, you're going to get more oxygen. Your blood is going to be able to clean and refresh itself better because your lungs are one of the main ways that your body expels waste. And you're going to be more relaxed, and you're also going to be putting pressure on the areas that need to have pressure put on them for you to adequately utilize your sexual energy. So breathing this way calms the nervous system also, and when you're calm, when you're relaxed, your sexual energy flows freely through your body. You're not pent up, and it doesn't have no choice but to come out through your penis. So this is how everyone breathed as babies. We lost the tendency to breathe from the belly as a combination from our modern environment, stuck emotions, and high-functioning anxiety due to overstimulation and a myriad of other causes. With a little willpower and tenacity, we can retrain ourselves to breathe from our bellies automatically. Simply breathe this way consciously as often as possible. Anytime you remember to do it, just do it. You can also sit down with a timer and intentionally take full inhales through the belly into the lower lungs for a few minutes, as long as you want, really. Try doing it for 5 minutes, breathing and only through the nose. Anytime we're doing a breathing practice, we're only using the nose. You will see that it is somewhat difficult to keep your consciousness focused on breathing patterns for this long if you've never tried it before. The more you work at it, the better it gets. Sitting and simply breathing this way is one technique that we can use to transmute our sexual energy into creative force that we can use in other ways. As the breathing pattern is changed and interrupted upon orgasm, this principle is leveraged to turn pent-up sexual energy into the aforementioned utilized energy that we keep talking about in this video. One more thing. Anytime you're meditating or sitting down relaxing, of course you want to sit with your back straight, upright, but imagine or visualize that your spine is a thermometer and that you have a small flame underneath your coccyx. And that's heating up the little ball at the bottom, and it's rising the liquid, the mercury in the thermometer that way. On exercise, I must mention that exercise is vital to anyone retaining their seed. You need to do something with that energy. The bonus here is that when you work out while doing semen retention, you build muscle faster since your body is not being depleted of nutrients by frequent ejaculation. If you don't want to join a gym, start pushing heavy weights. I recommend doing push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, and squats, just like I said earlier. Running is also great, or at least some sort of vigorous exercise you can do quickly, like 25 burpees every day. This will keep your energy circulating and make you less likely to spill your semen. It's very common for people to have wet dreams because their pressure is building up and their semen has nowhere to go, and their body isn't used to dealing with so much of it, so you have a wet dream when you sleep. Sometimes there's actually a sexually charged dream, and somebody ends up ejaculating and waking up at that same moment, or sometimes there's no sexually charged dream, and it just ends up happening because as you relax, the penis becomes engorged with blood because that's what happens. The rest of the body gets soft, and the penis gets hard when you relax, so it can be easily stimulated by moving around in your sleep, or your subconscious mind as you dream kind of taps into these things, and it can very easily happen. So exercise is one of those things that is going to mitigate having to deal with those wet dreams. But also, in the wet dream, in that whole scenario, you're going to see how some of your unconscious programs are playing out in your own mind. So just be careful, or not careful, but be conscious of that. Pay close attention. And everyone, of course, should be holding a dream journal and keeping a dream journal. Anyone who's ever read anything I've written or heard me speak knows that I'm very big on dream journaling. The back and lower back. Firstly, opening the lower back. The lower back pain has been linked to low libido in men, and for good reason. Often because of our common sitting in an upright position, we end up creating a muscular tightness in the lower back that may hurt at first, but later becomes a fixture in our everyday consciousness. We don't even notice it anymore. The pain and tightness still exists, but is largely ignored. Think about how a frog will jump out of boiling water, but if that water is brought to a boil while the frog is inside, it will not realize that it's boiling at all. This is what happens to people with lower back pain. Opening the lower back and improving spinal mobility may hurt at first, but it is entirely worth it. Remember not to push yourself while you stretch so as to cause excess pain. When you stretch, there's good pain and bad pain. We want the good pain. We want that stretch pain. We don't want to be hurting ourselves. Also, it's worth mentioning that when we start to stretch our lower back out, we're going to be revealing pain that is already there. So you may think that you pulled something or this or that. You didn't hurt yourself, most likely. It's just your back was so tight that now that you're starting to open it up, there are knots and there are all kinds of tight spaces that really have not been worked on in probably years. So just be wary of that. If it hurts, it's probably a good thing. But if it hurts while you're stretching, or if you've really got some kind of, if it's more than soreness and you have some kind of sensitive movement that you make, maybe stop stretching so aggressively. One of the things that really helped me out with opening up my lower back and glutes was Tui-Na massage. It can really open that area up, and I highly recommend visiting a Chinese healing center to have it done. Opening the lower back and glutes is so important because tightness and lack of flexibility and strength indicates stagnant energy. If we are transmuting our sexual energy into higher forms, we are going to need to make sure that we have free-flowing flexibility in our entire bodies. Most importantly, the lower back, glutes, and hips, because that is where your energy is at. That's where we're bringing it from, so if it is tight, it's not going to come out of there the way that we want it to. The perineum. While we're on the topic of physical exercise and muscles, you need to strengthen your PC muscles or your perineum. The perineum is vital to withholding an ejaculation when you're engaged sexually with a partner. This is the muscle that stops the flow of urine when you tighten it up. Put your hand down there and feel which one it is. Get acquainted with it by stopping your urine once every time you go to the bathroom. Make time every day to do 50 to 100 3-second long Kegels every day. So that's, you tighten up that muscle and hold it for 3 seconds, and then you let it go. Tighten it, hold it for 3 seconds, and then you let it go. You can do this anytime, while you're driving, while you're sitting at work, while you're watching a movie, while you're in bed, anytime. Most people have severely deteriorated perineums, and that's the muscle that, even though you can feel it down there between your scrotum and your anus, it goes further inside. So this is going to be the thing that allows you to stop an ejaculation, and it's the very closest muscle to your penis. A lot of veins run through it. So tightening that up, just like we said, relaxing your body allows allows blood to flow to your penis. Well, tightening it up is going to draw blood away from it. So if you're getting too aroused while you're engaged tantrically with a partner, you need to be able to tighten that muscle up and draw blood away from the penis and the prostate, so that you can continue to make love and build desire and build your sexual energy with a partner. So a strong PC muscle will also play into some of the breathing techniques that we'll discuss. So I suggest adding some Kegels to your daily routine, or even starting to do them now while this video is playing. The PC muscle in Hinduism or yoga is known as Muladhara Bandha, and in Taoism it's known as the Gate of Wu, I'm told. I couldn't find anything on the Gate of Wu when I looked it up. This is where energy leaks from a person and will come out most easily, so we need to make sure that it's strong enough to create a pressure to propel out the sexual energy upwards in sublimation or implosion. Chiropractic care. Going to a chiropractor may be helpful for some as well. A common symbol for chiropractic medicine is the caduceus of Mercury or Hermes, which signifies the ascending kundalini and the healed body. Many have postulated that this symbol's wings would signify ascension. The staff would be the spine, the top of the staff is the brain or pineal gland, although in a balanced esoteric discipline we would recognize that the pituitary gland is equally as important. The two twisting paths rising along the staff are symbolic of the Ida and Pingala nadis, or the energy pathways. Respectively, these nadis are masculine and feminine, electrical and magnetic, or solar and lunar, as far as yoga and Hinduism are concerned. If you want to know more about this, leave a comment and I will explain this symbol further in another video. A good chiropractor will help to set the spine straight, which relieves stress on the nervous system. Some people go to the chiropractor when they have a cold. When they have any physical issue or any mental issue, they go to the chiropractor and get an adjustment. People swear by it. I'm sure you know somebody who swears by the chiropractor. Just ask them. Inside of the brain and the spinal cord is similar and nearly identical in proportion and form to a single sperm cell. It could be said that the brain and the spinal cord in an adult human is the sperm cell grown to fruition as the human body. The body itself over that brain and spinal cord is the egg grown to fruition. A perfect mixture of the masculine and feminine gametes, creating life capable of propagating more life. Also, self-massage on the bones on and near the coccyx will also help to free up that sexual energy and help it flow freely in the rest of the body. You can also get something called an acupressure mat, which I'll link in the description below, that you lay on that and it kind of hurts at first. It's got a lot of little spikes on it, but you lay on that thing for up to 20 minutes and it just really, really helps your back, especially if you have some knots, back pain, this or that. You can lay on it on your front. You can sit on it. I sometimes use it on my glutes and my hips. It's a really great tool. Definitely worth the cash investment. And they're not too expensive. Meditations, esoteric information, and best practices. We are nearing the end of the video here. Most of the time, people say to fight sexual urges by doing push-ups or taking cold showers. These are absolutely beneficial to anyone's health, man or woman, and I encourage someone embarking on the path of sexual transmutation and to exercise and take cold showers, as they will increase the willpower and regulate the nervous system, among adding other benefits to your life. In this section, I'm going to go over some of the things that can be done every day to make sure you are getting the most out of the energy you're saving. Most people say that they reach a plateau of benefits around 90 days, and I'm here to tell you that if you diligently work at the things I'm describing in this video, you will most likely never reach a plateau of benefits. It'll just keep getting better. If you aren't quote-unquote into this kind of stuff like meditation, you can skip this section, but I highly recommend choosing at least one of the techniques I'm about to explain and give it the real college try for at least 3 weeks before you let your prejudice tell you that it's not real. The first practice is the basis of all the rest of them. I recommend doing this for about 20 minutes a day in the morning and the evening, no matter what. Always make time for it. I'll do my best to explain these techniques in order so that you can follow the structure for maximum benefit as they build upon each other. Simple mindfulness meditation. Sit upright in a chair and count backwards from 10 as you relax your body from foot to head. starting with the feet at 10, working up to the top of your head at 1 or 0. I'll link a video I made months ago in the description for a guided meditation just like this. This relaxation allows your energy to naturally rise through the rest of your body from the pelvic area. Raising energy. This is a practice of tactile imaging on your chakras or energy centers. This is a prerequisite to the next exercise. After meditating, or just whenever you want, sit upright. It is important to sit upright and not lay down because we are moving our energy upward. Breathe deeply into the belly, as was explained earlier. I'll be explaining the bodily reference points using the front side of your body, which is a good to start with, but ideally, when you become proficient at this exercise, you will be able to focus on the front of your body and the corresponding level in your spine. So that's going to be going, if I say the belly button, it's the belly button and equally the equal space on your spine. Focus on your coccyx until you feel a sensation, and then do this with your sacral area. It may be a tickle, it may be whatever kind of feeling you feel. Focus your mind on your coccyx until you feel a feeling. Now do this with your sacral area, just below the navel, then your solar plexus, then your heart center, which is just between the nipples, the throat, the forehead, and the top of the head. All of these in succession. Of course, once you feel a sensation, move on to the next one. It could be immediate, it could take 5 minutes. Just relax and be patient. Once you've felt some sensation in these places, take a deep breath and hold it in the belly while relaxing and imagining a sensation moving up your spine, over your head, and down the front of your body. Do this at least 3 times, and make sure that as you do these things, you have your tongue pressed up to the roof of your mouth, right behind your teeth. You could press the tip of your tongue right behind your teeth, and that's how it's known that you create an energy circuit within your body. Alternated nostril breathing. The right and left sides of the body are known in esotericism as masculine and feminine, respectively. This breathing is probably the best thing you can do to transform your sexual energy. I personally feel tingling up my back when I do this exercise daily. And I don't feel it as I'm doing the exercise. Sometimes I do, but generally, if I'm in the habit of doing this exercise, randomly throughout the day, sometimes all day, I'll feel really energized. I'll feel like electrical energy is moving through my body. I can't really explain it. You just have to try it for yourself. Use your right index finger to close your left nostril and inhale completely. Apply your thumb to your right nostril and hold. Release the index finger and exhale completely, then inhale completely again. So that is going to be through your left nostril. Now, after you inhale, apply the index finger again and hold. Then release the thumb and exhale, then inhale again. Do this for at least 7 rounds. 1 round is doing both nostrils and returning to the starting position. You can use a timer with an app like iBreathe, who I'm not affiliated with. Set that timer for 10-second inhales, holds, and exhales, all 10 seconds. You can also add a hold on the exhale for 10 seconds, so you'll have empty lungs and hold for 10 seconds. I personally time this with a mantra from Samael Amphour. This practice detailed by him is called Christic Egyptian Pranayama. You can easily look that up. It'll probably take you to glorian.com, which is a website that is all his writings and teachings and related things. Dreams. Many people trying nofap or semen retention for the first time report having more vivid dreams. I suggest supplementing this practice with a dream journal. Before you go to sleep, write the date in your dream journal. This should be the very last action you perform before closing your eyes and falling asleep. When you wake up, don't move your body yet. Give yourself a moment to recollect your dream, because when you're asleep, your body is flooded with melatonin. When you start to move, your melatonin flushes immediately out of your blood. So Give yourself a moment, hold that melatonin, that relaxed state. It will allow you to access your dream memory or your internal memory. And once you've got a handle on it, your very first movement should be towards your dream journal, where you're going to write down bullet points of your dream. I'm going to make another video about this kind of thing. I also have a PDF or ebook that I wrote about it that's available on my website, astralether.com. Dream journaling is an excellent practice for self-study, and if you are starting out with semen retention, chances are your dreams will be relevant to any desires you are trying to overcome at the time. About women. I'm not suggesting that you become an ascetic monk or that you swear off women altogether. Women of a higher caliber will respect the fact that you are trying to refine yourself sexually and maybe or probably will be into working with you tantrically. A tantric sexual relationship is the epitome of love and devotion. You do not need to ejaculate to have an orgasm. You do not need to ejaculate as the end of a sexual experience, and the woman's orgasm should not be the end of the sexual experience either. This, of course, is something that you cannot do in a promiscuous situation with promiscuous people. Two dedicated partners should embark on this journey together, if they so choose. Tantric sex is great for repairing the brain of a former coomer because it builds desire for a single person, whereas pornography easily makes a person bored with their partner and tends to cause cheating and emotional rifts in a relationship. Your body wants to spread its genes as far and wide as possible, so not releasing your genetic material and always making love with the same person will have the beneficial effect here of increasing desire for that person, increasing the intensity of what you will do for them, deepening your love for them, deepening the sexual relationship, and, of course, increasing your testosterone. Since most people these days learn about sex through pornography or from people who watch excessive amounts of pornography, being a part of a tantric couple will show you what sex really should be like. A typical sexual encounter with your partner may last about 15 to 30 minutes and be very depleting, with your woman usually ending up disappointed at the end because it's harder for women to achieve orgasm than it is for men. While a tantric encounter can last for hours and energize both parties while having multiple orgasms, think of what may be possible, and it's even more than that. If you're having tantric sex with a partner, it is important to have the perineum strengthened, like we discussed earlier. Tightening the perineum when the moment of orgasm is near will allow you to hold your orgasm and draw blood away from the prostate. When the prostate is engorged with blood, it was when a man ejaculates. We, of course, want to avoid this unless we are trying to have a baby. So thanks for sticking around for this long. I'm going to share some bonus information here about sexual energy, semen retention, and things like that. There's going to be a couple of book recommendations and just some more information that I really couldn't figure out where to place, and some things that I didn't write into the script until they occurred to me, so I'm just going to mention them all now. This is going to be the catch-all at the end, in lieu of a live presentation where you would have a questioning section. So many animals are biologically predisposed to use so much energy to reproduce. Here are some examples. Salmon die after spawning. Butterflies die after they lay their eggs. Luna moths have no digestive system because their sole purpose is to attract a mate and lay eggs. Praying mantis females will kill and eat the male after mating to acquire all of the nutrients necessary to build strong eggs. Male bees die after mating. I'm sure there are more examples in the animal kingdom, so if you know one, leave a comment down below. So about testosterone. Testosterone peaks in boys, testosterone production peaks in boys at around 12 to 13 years old when puberty is starting, and that is so that the body can create the blood-testes barrier and start to work on the sexual organs. Testosterone, of course, builds muscle, but in people with low testosterone, there is a link to obesity, increased susceptibility to disease and weakened immune system, and early death. So people with lower testosterone literally die earlier of natural causes than people with higher test. When you're retaining your semen, you will realize that you have more mental energy and more physical energy. So you're going to need to really try to get your thoughts and your emotions under control, as well as, like we said so many times in this video already, work out a bit to get your physical body under control. That's where meditation comes in. The daily meditation is going to allow you to focus your thoughts and really channel that energy the way that you want to channel it. People have 60,000 thoughts per day, or I believe it's 60,000. If I'm wrong, I'll fix it in the video. But people have so many thoughts per day. If you are using or accruing this extra energy and you're not taking care of what you're doing with it, first of all, you're wasting it. You might as well just be ejaculating it if you're not going to channel it and use it. But you can really turn this sexual energy into a concentration of everything. You can improve yourself in every area of life. Think about it. Most guys don't read, don't work out, and don't retain their semen. So if you just read, work out, retain your semen, and meditate every day, you have a leg up on 95% of the population of the entire world. Not that we should be competing with each other needlessly, but healthy competition is of course good. But you really don't need to work all that hard to elevate yourself. And in this video, you have some of the best keys that you could possibly have to elevate yourself that way. Professional athletes don't have sex. A lot of professional athletes don't have sex or ejaculate 2 to 3 weeks before a game. Lots of boxers, like Logan Paul was just talking about this, lots of boxers and fighters, when they're training, they have no sex. They don't ejaculate at all. They know that they're going to lose their legs. Power lifters too. This is a big thing with the weightlifting community. In Taoism, you have 3 reservoirs of your sexual energy. Actually, the testes are not considered a reservoir of sexual energy, which is very interesting. You have the belly, the sacral area, the heart, and the brain. These are the 3 places where you will feel strong sensations. And you might notice that when you're very aroused, you feel a sensation in your navel area. Well, that's the first stoking of the flame, you could say. In Western esotericism, the sacral area is known as the lake, right? That's where the waters collect. The cycle of sexual transmutation and transformation of your sexual energy is indicative of the water cycle. It collects at the bottom. It is stoked with action or fire. It raises like mist and then creates clouds and precipitates. So it goes from the bottom, raises as mist, creates clouds in the brain, and then comes down onto the rest of the body and is distributed. Pretty simple. In Ayurveda, it is thought that 40 drops of blood create a single drop of semen, just like how the cream is contained in the milk and the butter is contained in the cream, and sugar is contained in sugar cane, which is juiced and then dried. So you have the physical sugar cane, the sugar cane juice, and then the actual sugar that can be taken out of that. There's some figure where they say 80 drops of blood makes 1 drop of semen, or 40 drops of blood makes 1 drop of semen, and so many meals makes that much semen. It's rhetoric, but it holds true that the quality of your diet, your mental, physical, and material diet, that is your thoughts, your movements, and the food that you eat creates the quality of the things that come out of you. So to distill your quintessence better and create a better quality of semen, you need to increase the quality of all areas of your life. A few books that can help with this journey that you're on by watching this hour-long video, thank you for sticking around, by the way, are number 1, The Perfect Matrimony by Samael Aunbayor. Number 2 will be Psychic Wedlock by Ida Craddock. Number 3, The Multi-Orgasmic Man by Mantak Chia. And number 4, there's a brief chapter in Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Great book about the power of the mind and manifestation. Highly recommended. There's a brief chapter about semen retention in that. I believe he actually calls it sexual transmutation. But yes, please take this information, run with it, leave a comment below. Any thoughts, feelings, or anything that you think I left out. I may do another video on this. I'm sure there are things that I'm going to listen to it and realize that I should have added. So please leave me some feedback below. Thank you so much for sticking around for the whole video. Again, I'm done. So adios.